guys, welcome to another WoW video, and for today's video we're gonna watch the 9.2 reveal that Blizzard just put out, and of course I'll have my commentary in there, so let's check it out.
The Shadowlands story pulls together threads that started in Warcraft 3 and wove their way through many of our expansions. We approached it like a drama in 3 acts. Now, as the third and final act begins of the saga, we need to stop the Jailer from reaching his ultimate goal, which is to rewrite the rules of reality. Eternity's End serves as the final chapter of one book of the Warcraft saga. The Jailer has the advantage. He has seized the sigils of the leaders of the Four Covenants.
We see Sylvanas realize that she's been a pawn in the Jailer's game this entire time, and she refuses to serve him, and she's taken prisoner.
The Jailer is able to open a portal to who knows where, taking Anduin with him.
And the Primus had us take some time to retrieve some new sigils.
Now we have gathered our forces. We are working with the Primus to open our own gateway to pursue the Jailer to this realm unlike any we've seen before.
The Primus opens a portal, and we come into this alien land. It's completely white, foggy. We're walking on water for some reason.
They can only make out some shapes, some figures there, some crazy devices and consoles.
Eventually, you make your way to a giant gate, and behind it lies Zereth Mortis.
Zereth Mortis was created by the first ones, and it is intended to create afterlives.
Think of it as being tucked away in the fabric of the Shadowlands itself. It's kind of the behind the scenes of these afterlives that we've journeyed to.
It's the land where the progenitors, the first ones who created all of the realms of the Shadowlands, this is their workshop.
They've created everything we've experienced in Azeroth and Shadowlands, and even realms we haven't discovered yet.
These first ones built the universe as far as we know, but their intentions or methods are completely unknown.
But of course, the Jailer's presence here is disrupting this process, and we're working to push back against the Jailer's forces and protect this place.
I think the artists have done a fantastic job, and I know they did a lot of research, and they looked at a lot of real-life examples of very strange places in the real world.
As a team, we were really trying to make this place as alien as possible. So we really wanted to make everything feel completely unique and completely different. Our trees here are floating. We have stones that are floating. We even have the massive Forge of Afterlives that is floating in the center of the zone.
And true to its name, it's something that is kind of putting together a new afterlife to be sent out into the Shadowlands.
We have this water all around you because water is really the catalyst for any kind of creation.
It's actually unlike any other water that we've seen before. This is actually water that we can walk on. It almost creates like a threshold between Zereth Mortis and some other kind of more primordial space right below it. Everything you see in Zereth Mortis has a purpose, an intention behind it. For us, it was really important to find ways to convey that intention in the environment itself. And one of the ways in which we did it was through this duality between a lush and a dry biome. In the dry biome, we see perhaps what the original look of the zone was when the progenitors were first establishing this workspace for themselves. And in the lush biome, we see the result of their experimentation with plant life and fauna and things like that.
These are all test beds for what we'll eventually see elsewhere.
From there, we started thinking about what kinds of creatures would be in this place that are fundamentally prototypes. There's terraforming here. There's creatures that are building afterlives. We tried to really stretch and think what that might be like.
My personal favorite includes the giant armored snail, and we also have a progenitor chicken, which answers the question of what came first.
These first ones who crafted Zereth Mortis, what they left behind were the Automa, meant to take care of the place and make sure that it fulfilled its function to create afterlives.
The Automa have several different classes, and you can see this in their silhouettes. We have the Builders, we have the Protectors, we have the Casters, and each one of them have a specific role within the Shadowlands. And then you'll also discover the Jiro, which are a part of the Automa. They're a little more quirky, they have a little more personality. They are a little more sentient than the other automa, so some of them even split off to pursue their own desires.
Unfortunately, when we found our way in, Devourers also found their way in. They are ravenous.
They're consuming this weird energy, and it's causing them to mutate and to fall apart.
And the automa, where they are confronted by them, some of them are fighting them off.
And so it's going to take some time for them to understand that we're here trying to help them drive out this threat. Fortunately, we've got some allies. There are some enlightened brokers here that we're going to be working with.
But it's a broker that arrived here quite a long time ago and has had a change of heart from looking at the world as a very transactional place to seeing this place as a holy place, a sacred place. We meet an enlightened one named Fareem, and Fareem needs our assistance, and in return, he leads us to Haven,
which is a hub that has been created out of progenitor ruins, and this is where the enlightened really have made their home.
Haven serves as our foothold here, as well as use it as a base of operations and really start unlocking the mysteries of this land.
The enlightened brokers are intent on protecting and preserving the work of the first ones here, but now they're seeing Zoval bring his forces against the Automa and tear up the land, and they are eager for assistance.
The brokers themselves are very ostentatious, they're very into materialism, but the enlightened are not that at all. They have relinquished this material way, and you'll see this reflected in their clothes. They're a little tattered, they're a little faded, because it just isn't important to them anymore. They're just here for the pursuit of knowledge.
When players arrive, they're kind of fishes out of water. And one of the first things that we have to do is start learning how to communicate with the Automa. Think of it as a kind of runic language, based in symbols.
We will bond with a small construct who's pretty cute, actually. And with his assistance and the assistance of Fareem, we will learn eventually how to understand the symbols through the cipher of the first ones.
We'll uncover different parts of this alphabet and start to learn more about the progenitors and Zereth Mortis itself.
It will allow you to unlock new and different forms of content. So that can range from daily quests to new options on the vendors to places to explore and new side quests that open up. So it's really the gateway to exploring the far reaches of Zereth Mortis.
As we looked into the development of Cypher of the First Ones, we wanted something that was unique that players haven't seen before. A little bit of familiarity, but something that takes that to the next level.
We really involved the whole team in this creative process. We worked with our UI team to be able to represent those through text, through these things, talking and seeing them on screen in chat bubbles and in our chat window. Little by little, these kind of runes start taking shape into words that we recognize. But it's going to be a process that unfolds over the course of playing through Eternity's End. The Automa speak in this kind of musical language. They don't talk the way that we mortals are used to speaking. The sound team was super excited. They jumped in, they started prototyping all kinds of different sounds. We listened, we gave feedback, and we really ended up in a cool place. As you're playing through and gradually unlocking the language, you'll be able to see those words that they're saying, but still hear those tones. The jailer's true goal has never really been to escape the Maw or to gain power. He's been focused on reaching this place called the Sepulchre, to go into this place of power and to really rewrite the rules of the universe. We'll learn that the jailer has breached the Sepulchre of the First Ones, and this becomes our new raid for Eternity's End. We're going to gather our forces, we're going to pursue the jailer inside. Once you go inside the Sepulchre, there's some mind-blowing visuals. This is a place that should not be able to exist according to the laws of physics as we know them on Azeroth. Just looking out into this impossible sky of seeing these ancient works of the First Ones, those laws don't apply to anything we see here.
Among the bosses that we're going to face in Sepulchre of the First Ones include the jailer's forces, maybe a dreadlord or two that you haven't tied up loose ends with. We'll face a consular. This is similar to a being like Algalon, but the jailer's gotten to it and has infused his domination magic into the consular. Before we get to the jailer, however, we need to get to Anduin first. Our hope is that we can learn whatever Anduin knows about domination magic. We need to be able to resist it, or better yet, fight it.
We know players have been waiting a long time for the return of tier sets, and as devs, we have too.
It's a great blend of progenitor magic, golds, and metals, along with those class-defining silhouettes, wolves for shamans, pointy things for rogues. It's gonna look amazing.
Our class and combat team was super excited to bring class sets back. This is something that felt really right for the story. We're in the final act of the Shadowlands saga. We're here literally on the brink at eternity's end. And what better place to fully unleash the power of these classes? And I think players will really enjoy the return of those class sets just as much as the team enjoyed making them.
How do you make something that is mystical and magical and incomprehensible and yet understandable? I think we've done a good job of finding that line.
The team as a whole has been working so hard, and we are so excited to get this out for everyone.
We're gonna get new mounts, new pets.
A bit horrifying for me, but exciting for some is the fact that, some of the spider mounts can now fly. Who needs flying spiders? But that's also going to be a cool thing for people.
We have updates to professions, to soulbinds, to conduits. There's a new dancing minigame in Darkmoon Fair.
I'm a story guy, so I'm super geeked about watching players kind of piece together those little lore tidbits. That's what excites me as well.
I'm really looking forward to Season 3 of Mythic Plus. Tazavesh is getting split into 2 dungeons. If you're a raider, if you chase Keystone Master, if you're an achievement collector, there's something for everyone to do in this.
Shadowlands is like the final chapter of one book of the Warcraft saga, and our team is already hard at work on the next stories to come. Can't talk about them quite yet, but when the time is right, we're going to be really excited to share them with you.
Okay, well, what did you guys think of that? Me, I was hoping to be a little more hyped, to be honest. Nothing in there really hyped me. New mounts and pets are always cool, but none of them looked really interesting to me. But we just got a little glance, so, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that one. But as far as the content, I guess I need to see a little more on that raid just to know if I'd be interested. But the rest, no. But that mini game, that mini game for Darkmoon sounds a lot of fun. Basically, they've more or less turned the auction house dance party into a mini game. So yeah, that sounds cool. Hopping back to the tier sets, I was not too impressed with this one. I'm happy they're bringing back class sets, but these just look horrible in my opinion. Yeah, nothing exciting here. And then as far as the raid, it's an 11 boss raid, but like as you obviously witnessed, there really isn't much info on that yet. So we'll have to just wait for more info on that. However, one interesting factor that I found out after watching the video is that it's going to be kind of time gated, so you only face 8 out of 11 bosses in the first week, which includes Anduin. And it's definitely looking like 9.2 might be the last patch of Shadowlands. It is the final story of Shadowlands, so yeah. It was being hinted, a couple of weeks ago that there was going to be another one, but I feel like this video kind of told us that there's not going to be, that 9.2 will be the final one. And I'm glad they're not doing a 9.3 that will get them more time to work on the next expansion. And yeah, this was a very disappointing video in my personal opinion. Not a whole lot of info. I feel like if you're gonna release something, then wait till you have more. I think they should have just waited on this and given us a video with a little more info. The video itself was put together pretty good, but the info is just so minimal. I do wish they would have talked a little more on the raid and mythics and even PvP. Yeah, I definitely feel like their main focus seemed to be the new zone and the sets. They really wanted us to know about the sets. They repeated that a few times. And yeah, it was very clear that they wanted us knowing about that. And I get it. I get it. You're listening to the community. Cool. But who is behind these designs lately? However, another thing I discovered shortly after watching the video is that they are going to be implementing solo PvP brawls, which has been a highly requested thing for a while now, so that could be interesting. And also, they upped the boost to 60. Like, I can't believe they even still sell the boosts. Like, I guess some sucker's gonna buy it, right? But who pays that kind of money for a boost when you can level within weeks in the game, you know? Like, it's just so easy leveling that you're wasting your money buying a boost. But nonetheless, the boost is a 60 now. And when I say now, I do mean now. That came with the announcement. Okay, so that calls it on this video. So overall, I'm not too impressed with what we saw today. I know it's just a glimpse and we'll get a lot more, but I don't even like the vibes of it. I don't like the new zone. I don't like the way the pets and the mounts looked in there. I really didn't. I guess I didn't see enough of the raid to know if it looked interesting, but it definitely didn't look interesting to me. And, you know, those are major parts of my gameplay. I love raiding, I love collecting pets and mounts, and I love exploring zones. So for all of those factors to be in there, and then the lack of M plus being talked about and PvP and all that, you know, like, of course I'm still playing, and, you know, but I have definitely been playing a lot more old content than new content this expansion, and I think it's probably gonna stay at that. Yeah, because I can't imagine there's much else they could tell me that would make me want to play it, because with me not really liking the new zone, yeah, why would I force myself in a zone I don't like, right? So, yeah, I have noticed, and I'm sure you guys have noticed too on the channel, but I have noticed that they are slowly wearing me down. I'm a long-time player, been playing since it launched in 2004, and yeah, I've been pretty okay with the expansions up until BFA, but Shadowlands, yeah, they are wearing me down. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts were on the reveal, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.